Welcome back to the show. Aisling Larkin is promising us something very special in the kitchen tonight. Individual beef Wellingtons. No, not boots. Behave yourselves. Anyway, there's a lot of work in this, Aisling, so how do we get started?
I have a lot of steps to show you each one. And what I actually have done is I'm making them individual, right? Because I think this is one of those things that it looks lovely, but a lot of people would never attempt it at home. So by breaking it down into individual ones, it's easier. We're taking a lot of the stress out of it. So there's a couple of key components. First thing is your mushrooms. So mushrooms are a really, really key part to this. So what I have here is I have beautiful little shiitake mushrooms. I have these rustic mushrooms and a little bit of chestnut mushrooms. All of those over button mushrooms are better because they have so much more flavour.
Okay. Yeah, you can smell them as well. They're richer.
When they're cooking, they're lovely. You get those layers of umami through this, and that's what this is all about, building those layers. These are all Irish mushrooms. So they're Offaly, Monaghan, Carlow, like really good, lovely, lovely mushrooms. So what you need to do is dice them up really, really finely. So I was doing that the whole way through the show. Now, if you're making this for 6 people, you're going to go through about 500 grams, 600 grams of mushrooms, which is a lot. Use your food processor. Just pop them in, blitz them for 30 seconds, and hey presto, you're done, right? So what you do then, put them on your pan, a little bit of oil, a little bit of butter, and just fry them. Now, they take longer than you think to fry, okay? What you're trying to do when you fry them is you're trying to get out all of the moisture. Mushrooms have a lot of water in them. If the water goes into the middle of this as it cooks out, it's going to make everything soggy. So you need everything super dry. That's a really top tip for making a Wellington. You want all of your ingredients super, super dry.
Can I just ask, because I would need precise timings if I was even attempting this, how long would you fry the mushrooms?
8 minutes.
Okay.
Right. I would do about 500 grams for about 8 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then another really good top tip is don't put your garlic in at the start. Put it in as they cook. If you put it in at the start, it tends to burn a little bit, right?
Yeah, sour then, isn't it?
Yeah, really bitter. You don't want that. So you just want it going in midway through. So cook that all the way through, and then that turns into what we call your duxelle. Okay, so this is this layer that goes in the centre. You do need to season this up really, really well with black pepper and some sea salt as well. What happens is the salt is lovely. It draws out the moisture. So it works really, really well. There's some salt here. And you need that. So you need all that moisture gone.
And if you didn't like mushrooms, you just would cut that out altogether. Yeah. I love them, by the way, you know.
Yeah, but what you could do is use spinach. And again, cook your spinach really, really well and dry it out. Dry it out super well, and you could replace it with your spinach. Okay, so they're cooking. We're going to double duty as well. Half of these have gone in here to make this beautiful cognac, creamy mushroom sauce that we're going to serve with it. So I've just let those sweat off for a couple of minutes. My beef on the pan, ready to go. You need to sear off your beef. You want that beautiful caramelization on each side. But that's it. You don't want to cook this through. So I suppose the daunting part for a lot of people is where they have this whole Chateaubriand or the whole length of the fillet, and it doesn't fit in the frying pan, and then it's burnt on one side, and how long do I cook it for? And someone likes it medium and someone likes it well done, and it's, oh, that's the panic. When you talk to people, that's the panic. That's what stops them from doing this. So by doing it individually, you can control it a little bit better. So brown off these really nice. That's those done. They come off the pan and then they're ready to go. So I'm actually just going to turn those off, let them sit.
Is this had to have it medium to do it?
This is, so that depends on how long you cook it in the oven first. So you're talking 12 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on how you want it cooked. So for the next step, these are the mushrooms that have already been cooked off. So this is what your duxelle looks like when it's cold. Pastry, puff pastry. You with me? You with me?
Yeah, with you.
There's a lot of layers. Puff pastry. Onto my puff pastry, I am putting Parma ham. Okay, so what I want to do is wrap my fillet in the Parma ham. So I have fillets that are cold here that have been browned off, right? So we just did these earlier.
Okay.
You layer up your duxelle on top of that. Now, traditionally, or I suppose not traditionally, but alternatively, instead of using Parma ham, you can use a pancake. Really, really thin crepe made with chives instead of the Parma ham if you didn't want the Parma ham. But the Parma ham adds a really lovely, salty kind of layer.
So we've got to let the beef go cold before we...
Yeah, like not cold, but certainly just don't take it straight off the pan. Just let it chill down just for a couple of minutes. Then we're going to paint the edges with a little bit of egg wash. So this acts as our glue to stick it all together. Lid on, so one on the bottom, one on the top. Make sure all your little bits and bobs are tucked in. And then you want to seal it around the edges. Now, you can do these in circle shapes, you can do them in rectangle shapes. And what I like to do is just use a fork and press down along the side. Now, you can trim off some of the excess pastry if you've got a little bit too much on one side, or if you like the pastry, sure, listen.
Yeah, is
Get
that
to Christmas time.
puff pastry?
This is puff pastry, yeah, and shop bought.
Yeah.
And ready to roll. So this wasn't even, some of them you can buy in a block. This is actually the one that you just roll straight out off the paper. Brush that again with egg wash. So while you're using your egg wash, it's going to give it this beautiful glaze. So it makes it that deep, deep, deep golden brown colour. If you want to be fancy, you can cut lovely designs in your pastry. Do cut a little slit in the top to allow the steam out, just to let it crisp up really, really nicely. So 2 little slits there. Top tip, sprinkle the top with sea salt. And a really good sprinkle, because again, you're kind of seasoning that up, but it also makes the pastry crisp up really, really nicely.
Oh, right. Okay.
If you had people coming around, these are done in advance.
I'm thinking of those days
That's handy.
between Christmas and New Year,
Yeah.
when you might have people coming around,
Exactly.
and you've already had your fill of turkey and ham.
And you can freeze them when you've them prepared like that.
I wouldn't. Not with the
no.
mushrooms in them. I would chill them though. You
Yeah.
could definitely do them the day
So for a
ahead.
dinner party, you could have it done the night before and then just shove them in the oven.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
In the oven, hot oven, 180 to 200 degrees Celsius. If you wanted rare for individual ones, you're talking about 12 minutes. If you want it well done, you're talking about 20 minutes.
Yeah, see, I love it well done. And then how about the pastry then? Does that not burn though if you leave it in
No,
longer?
it stays beautiful and crisp.
Oh, does it?
really,
Oh.
really nice and crisp, yeah. So I want to talk to you about this mushroom sauce, because this is just sensational. My Isabella was literally standing at the pan the other day, like eating this off a spoon.
Oh.
That's how good it is. But
Like a
because,
soup.
honestly, because the mushrooms are so fine, you kind of don't know they're there. So you get this beautiful flavour through it, but you don't see the mushrooms, which is really nice. Now, I've actually fried off some individual mushrooms because I like seeing the mushrooms in it. This is beautiful. Chicken breast, even a little bit of spinach, something like that, gorgeous.
Lovely.
Brandy or whiskey.
We've got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, good big splash of that going in there. And like I said, this is so versatile. This sauce is like your kind of classic whiskey, mushroom, brandy, mushroom sauce that you serve with your steak, and it's lovely with the Wellington. You want to cook off that brandy. So that, in here, I had garlic, I had butter, I had a little bit of oil, I had my duxelle mushrooms, my fried off mushrooms, again, the variety of the 3. Stay away from the button if you can.
Yeah.
Pop that in. Into that goes half a chicken stock cube.
All right.
And that just adds that depth of kind of savoury flavour. And then this sauce is called a reduction sauce. So there's no roux, there's no thickening agent. You're actually just using the cream and you're just letting it bubble up, okay? So this is, like, even as we were saying, an alternative to Christmas dinner, maybe to the turkey, to something like that. It's luxury. I mean, this really is a luxury.
It's a heavy sauce, but it's tasty.
Yeah. Loads of flavour in it. But again, like, it just, you don't need a whole lot of it. Like this amount for 6 people. So that's 250 ml of cream for 6 people.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, you know.
And it's Christmas time, we're allowed to indulge.
Oh, yeah.
A
We
little
can
bit.
work it off in the new year.
Exactly. Just a little bit.
I don't know what part of the new year, but in the new year.
Out walking the roads, for sure. I'm putting a little bit of thyme in. Thyme is the herb
We
that
got about
works
a minute
best
left.
Yeah, with this, and it's just beautiful. So just the thyme, you can put the thyme in with the duxelle as well and carry the flavour through from inside the Wellington. So that just bubbles away, and then I am going to serve up. So this is what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. One for
it
each
looks
of
gorgeous.
you. Isn't it? There you
Thank
go.
you.
And Martin, and you guys can do the honours of cutting into one. I have some beautiful gratin potatoes as well that I think are just gorgeous with this. I have a sphere of a knife, or a spear, I should say, for one of you. And I don't think there's forks, but we'll pass them over. And guys, that is it.
Thanks so much.
Our
That looks
beautiful
amazing.
beef Wellington
Absolutely
with
amazing.
our gratin potatoes and our delicious. And the sauce is done, like, at this stage. I mean, it's absolutely done.
Does
You
the
can let
sauce
it
just
stick
go
a
on
little
top
bit.
or to the
I just serve
side?
it on the side, just
On
a
the side,
tiny little
okay.
bit on the side.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
a little garnish of your fresh
look at
thyme.
that,
And it's just so tasty.
delicious.
So,
The
so
gratins,
tasty.
a few Brussels sprouts, the Billy
we're all
Whiz.
set.
We're happy.
Oh, that's all we have time for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And to our guests, we've got the amazing Aisling Larkin for this
That's
beautiful
just
food.
Great Christmas
Gorgeous.
alternative. Tomorrow we'll be chatting with sports broadcaster George Hamilton, plus Bake Off winner Giuseppe is going to be checking in too. Plus, don't forget to tune in. It's back on tonight for sure. I'm a Celebrity, 9 o'clock here on Virgin Media 1. We're going to get busy with the beef Wellingtons. We'll see you tomorrow at 6.
See you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow.